Something else that is interesting is about true prophets versus false prophets in God's heavenly assembly. True prophets know about some decisions that are made in the heavenly assembly, where they stand ready to serve Yahweh. Example, Elijah introduces himself as the prophet of Yahweh before whom I stand. 1 Kings 17:1 and 18:5. The prophets Isaiah and Ezekiel were also knowledgeable about what was going on in Yahweh's courts. God is the one who raises up prophets to serve him, aka stand before him. Priests also minister before God. In the heavenly assembly, the hosts are at God's right and left hand. To be in God's service is a high honor. The heavenly assembly also bears witness to Yahweh's choice of prophets. In the Bible, all prophets are validated by a supernatural encounter, which at times takes place in the heavenly assembly. Jeremiah 23:16-18 says, "But if they had stood in my counsel, they would have proclaimed my words to my people." Another word for counsel is assembly. The context of this passage is saying that true prophets have stood and listened in Yahweh's council or assembly, where false prophets have not. Daniel 7:9-10. As I looked, thrones were placed, and the Ancient of Days took his seat, and his clothing was as white as snow, and the hair on his head like pure wool. His throne was fiery flames, its wheels were burning fire. A stream of fire issued and came out from before him. 1,000,000 served him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court sat in judgment, and the books were opened. Here the Ancient of Days is the leader, but there are some members of the assembly that also get to sit on thrones, like the 24 elders, which the Apostle John sees enthroned around God. John saw the heavenly assembly as well. In the ancient world, people believed that the gods held their courts on tops of mountains. Why mountains? Because mountains were close to the sky, and the skies above were where the gods lived. This is why Scripture is always talking about Mount Zion. Mount Zion is not on earth, but it is in heaven.